Imagine constructing a massive skyscraper. Now imagine doing it in reverse, taking a solid block of iron and chiseling away everything that isn't the building. In the 8th century, King Krishna I commissioned an extraordinary project. It is located deep within the Ellora Caves. The Ellora Caves are a vast complex of rock-cut monasteries and temples carved directly into a basalt cliff in Maharashtra, India. Looking at Cave 16, known as the Kailasa Temple, from this high angle, you can see it sits entirely within an excavated rock pit. Standard construction relies on an additive process. If you misplace a brick or cut a wooden beam too short, you simply grab a new piece and fix the mistake. Kailasa, however, was created through a purely subtractive process. The architects revealed the entire complex by systematically carving away the mountain that surrounded it. One wrong strike of a hammer would mean permanent, unfixable damage to the structure. Yet, forensic surveys show zero major errors, leaving a historical blind spot regarding exactly how the workers achieved such flawless execution. This image shows the temple's roof from an elevated angle, highlighting the intricate concentric carvings and statues. Because they started at the peak of the mountain and dug downward, these upper spires and details had to be completely finalized before the workers even reached the foundation layer. As they descended, the workers carved out multi-story balconies and connecting bridges. They did this while suspended above solid rock that they would later have to remove, entirely without the structural support of the final ground floor. Digging blindly into the bedrock from above meant the sculptors had to maintain perfect three-dimensional symmetry across a massive area without being able to see the full shape of what they were creating. Even with those severe spatial restrictions, modern laser scans of the final 100-foot-tall structure reveal no significant architectural corrections or asymmetrical deviations. Executing a top-down descent of this scale requires a highly sophisticated pre-planning phase. The precise measurements had to be entirely locked in before the very first rock was struck. This 3D schematic illustrates the sheer volume of negative space created around the temple complex. By hollowing out the rock to leave the building behind, the builders excavated a massive amount of material. Looking at the labeled diagram, that excavated volume equals roughly 200,000 tons of solid basalt. Removing that much dense volcanic rock today requires fleets of heavy machinery, but it was achieved here using only hand chisels and hammers. As they cleared those thousands of tons of stone, the workers deliberately left functional, multi-level corridors and stone bridges physically connected to the original cliff face. Down at the base, the walls feature deep, detailed relief sculptures of elephants and legendary figures. These carvings depict scenes from the Ramayana and Mahabharata. The Ramayana and Mahabharata are the two major ancient Sanskrit epics of India, detailing mythological battles and philosophical teachings. The project required the bulk removal of a mountain alongside the preservation of relief carvings just millimeters thick. The same workforce managed the weight of 200,000 tons of debris and the aesthetics of a multi-story religious epic. Historical records suggest the entire complex was finished during a rough window of about 20 years during Krishna I's reign. This chart shows the daily tonnage of rock removal required to meet that 20-year deadline. To excavate 200,000 tons in 2 decades, a standard human workforce would have to consistently remove massive amounts of stone every single day. The gap highlighted on the chart represents a massive logistical hurdle. Maintaining that constant, rapid daily removal rate over 20 years is physically unfeasible without modern mechanical assistance. Even with today's advanced surveying equipment and heavy drills, modern engineers estimate that replicating a project of this precision would take substantially longer than the 20 years the ancients supposedly took. The math simply does not align with the tools we assume they had. The severe timeline suggests the builders utilized specialized carving techniques or a level of workforce coordination that modern historians have yet to identify. The effort to commit to such an unforgiving project likely stemmed from intense spiritual devotion. The inspiration was to create a physical replica of Mount Kailash, a sacred Himalayan peak revered as the cosmic abode of Lord Shiva. By anchoring their religious beliefs to strict top-down mathematical planning, the architects successfully bridged abstract faith with the concrete precision of ancient geometry. In this vintage photograph of the complex, you can see how the deep historical layering of the site has endured the centuries. Because it was carved directly out of the earth itself, it stands as a permanent, mountain-sized monument to human dedication. The temple stands as a 100-foot-tall physical record that challenges our standard assumptions about 8th century labor. It documents a mastery of logistical coordination and geological surveying that remains visible long after the technical manuals for its construction have vanished.